Alright guys, so today's video is sponsored by Shokz, and although it is sponsored, these are all of my thoughts. They didn't get to tell me what to say, and they did not get to approve this video before I posted it. So with all of that out of the way, today we're going to check out their brand new Shokz OpenFit 2 Plus. Now Shokz has pretty much made a name for themselves for making some of the most successful and better sounding open ear style products. The OpenFit 2 Plus is basically like their most premium offering yet. They do come in retailing at $199, so they are $20 more than the original OpenFit 2s, and they're actually the same price as the Open Dots 1, which is the clip-on style earbuds that they have. And so what kind of makes these different is this is the first product of theirs that supports Dolby audio. These also have a dual driver system where it's using a driver to handle higher frequencies, but also a 17.3 millimeter like racetrack style driver to handle the low end. And so from a design standpoint, these are available in two different colors. You have a black and a silver. I have the silver version here. The case for the most part is pretty flat. It's low profile. It does support Qi wireless charging, which this is a feature that the regular 2s did not have. So that really means the only accessory that they include in the box, which is a USB-C cable, you don't actually have to use this if you're going to use Qi wireless charging. Now the earbuds are a sport hook style design. It's using a silicone. In fact, Shokz calls this an ultra soft silicone 2.0. Basically, I don't know what that really means other than these are very comfortable. They're very soft. And after you put them on and about 5 minutes later, you kind of even forget that they're there. And that's kind of the point of this style of design. You're made to put them on, forget that you have them on, still be able to hear your environment, and it not just like stop everything that you're doing around you. Now the earbuds themselves do use both a physical button and touch controls, and I am happy to say that out of the box you do get control over everything, so that's always nice. I do wish though that these had smart sensors. I have seen this in some other open style earbuds, and I would have liked to have seen these have this, but they don't. They do have what Shokz calls direct pitch 2.0, and this is what keeps these from leaking sound. It's kind of channeling it right into your ear canal, so you can turn them up pretty loud without people around you being able to hear it. I would say probably around 60% volume is where people, if they're kind of close to you, will be able to hear some of what you're listening to, but for the most part, you can kind of blast these and not have to really worry about your surroundings. Now tech-wise, these do have Bluetooth 5.4, so they do support multi-point connection. They don't support any high-end Bluetooth codecs, which normally I'll say in this style isn't a big deal, and I still don't think it's a big deal, but if you were going to have a premium product, I do wish that these had LDAC support, because we definitely have seen this in some other open ear style earbuds. Now they also do work with Shokz app, so you can keep these updated. There's 4 pre-built EQ options. You can go in and just customize the sound the way that you want to. The app is also where you can switch it into the Dolby audio mode. You can also switch around some of your controls. There's even a Find My Earbuds feature where it'll just play like a ringing tone out of them. So if you lost them kind of like in your house or in a room, it makes it a little bit easier to find them. Now, if you are going to use these outdoors, they do come in with an IP55 rating. So there's some slight dust and water protection, but they're not dust proof or waterproof, but it still gives you kind of peace of mind while you're using them out and about. Now the battery life on these are very impressive. Now on a full charge you can get 11 hours out of the earbuds, and with the charging case you can get around 48 hours total. And if you do just happen to pick them up and they are dead, these also have a fast charging feature where a quick 10-minute charge will get you 2 hours of use. Now, if you are going to use these for taking phone calls, I would say that the call quality on these are very good. They are using 4 beamforming mics, and they're also saying that they're using AI and noise canceling to try to block out a lot of your surroundings while you're taking phone calls. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. So here is a quick mic test outdoors using the Shokz OpenFit 2 Plus. It's not really a windy day, but I can definitely hear some traffic off to the side. I can even hear some airplanes like above me. So there's definitely some noise going on, but this is just to give you an idea of what it would sound like if you were to take a call public. So now let's move over to the sound. And this is going to be where I'm going to have to break it down in a couple of different modes. But as far as listening to music, I was just really impressed with the way that it was tuned out of the box. And that's with it in its standard EQ. It definitely has that U-shaped tuning with a slight push forward with the mids. So the bass surprisingly had a lot of punch. I would even say that it had this nice little vibration to it. So it kind of replicated somewhat of a subwoofer type feel. The treble on these definitely have a nice detailed brightness to them, but it's not like overly harsh or anything like that. And I think they just pushed the mids slightly forward so that, you know, anything with vocals, anything with dialogue is just going to be able to be a little bit more upfront. And that's important when you're listening to something that's always competing with your surroundings. So for anything that I was listening to that wasn't music, I actually liked the Dolby audio mode. Now, this is something I normally don't like. I think it's usually way too artificial in other products, but this one didn't add like this weird reverb effect to the vocals. It didn't try to just give you this artificial space. It just made things sound a little bit more open. Now, it definitely brought vocalists a little bit more forward. And I think this is the only reason I didn't really prefer to use it with music, because it's altering it a little too much in my opinion. But for movies, TV shows, podcasts, anything where I needed to focus in on what is being said, the Dolby audio mode was perfect for that. And again, the added space just kind of gave everything a much more natural feel. It feels like you just kind of dropped into whatever you're listening to. So I was actually surprised at how much I like the Dolby audio mode, as long as it's not with music. So my overall opinion is this. Shokz basically took their popular Shokz OpenFit 2s and added Dolby audio and wireless charging, which I think are going to be two welcomed features that I think, you know, if you're spending this kind of money, these are things that you're going to want. I still would like to see higher end Bluetooth codecs, and I still would like to see smart sensors on here. So I'm not saying that these are perfect by any means, but if you are looking at a more premium, like open ear style design product, when it comes to sound quality, when it comes to battery life, and when it comes to just how comfortable these are, all of those things are really important with this style of earbud. These just check all of those boxes. And I would even say if you don't need the Qi wireless charging, or maybe you don't really care about Dolby audio, the regular OpenFit 2s are still an excellent pick, and you can save a little bit of money by going with those because they do come in at $179. But the added $20, being able to get Dolby audio and Qi wireless charging, I do think a lot of people are going to be willing to pay that just to be able to get those features. Especially, again, this is a product that's made to be able to use all day. This is not just a pair of earbuds you would put in for like an hour and then you're kind of done. So again, I don't think a lot of people are going to have as much issue investing this kind of money. But guys, that wraps up my video on the brand new Shokz OpenFit 2 Plus. Again, I would like to thank Shokz for sponsoring today's video. And if you are interested in checking these out, I will have it linked in the description. But thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.